Minecraft servers. There's something about getting together with some good friends, having fun adventures together, forming fond memories, and of course, shaping a big, grand, and beautiful world hand in hand with one another while showcasing each person's unique creativity. But while there is beauty in forming a server with friends, there's also the not so good parts. You know, things like extortion, greed, and most importantly, betrayal. Now you might be wondering where such things played into our little server here, so let me go ahead and tell you a story. Our story starts over a year ago when some of my friends formed an idea. You see, one of our friends, Axel, is the token British person of the group, so we all thought it'd be funny if we formed a type of currency called GBP, otherwise known as Great British Pound. This currency was originally used by simply placing bets on random stuff or giving each other challenges in games. For example, I could bet 200 GBP on beating a game before my buddy Ethan could, or I could make some sort of sports bet or whatever. And if I won, I would be awarded the GBP I put on the table as well as my buddies, along with a fun little GBP badge of honor right by my Discord name. How sweet. Simple enough, right? Wrong. You see, somewhere along the way, some people started getting a little greedy and began having an unquenchable thirst for this currency that, you know, doesn't hold any real value except bragging rights. This, along with some bets being changed and messed with before they could be completed, led to a lot of confusion surrounding how the currency should be distributed. That was until one fateful day when Austin sent a message that would change everything. Axial, I trust your judgment, but I believe a governing body made of the people for the people should place checks and balances and reserve the right to assess your governance. As a part of the body, I propose that GBP shall be awarded for events that are registered with the governing monarch, Axial, before the event has taken place. Whereas, to prevent retrospective awarding of GBP for events that had not been registered proactively. This prevents unregulated awarding of GBP for any event that has happened previously. Therefore, be it resolved, the governing monarch determines the value of GBP awarded for each event and reserves the right to refuse any request of retroactive GBP. Now, I have no idea how Austin even understands the currency, considering he's probably had only 20 messages in this Discord channel, max, and also disappears every 2 to 3 months, but his new idea saved the currency and allowed us to get a better grasp on the, if you will, market. Now, you see, that's where the story would have ended if it wasn't for something that had been bothering me and my friends for a little too long. Elden Ring. I love Elden Ring, you love Elden Ring, we all love Elden Ring, right? Wrong. You know who didn't like Elden Ring a few months back? Esteban. You know who got into Elden Ring a few months back? Esteban. You know who ended up getting a really stupid bet regarding Elden Ring? Esteban. Alright. Let me get back on track. A few months ago, Esteban picked up Elden Ring finally after me and all my friends have beaten the game time and time again over the past 3 years. For some reason, we were all convinced Esteban would drop the game in a few days because of the difficulty, so we agreed to make a GBP bet on it. Axel said that if Esteban could beat Elden Ring in 3 years, he would get 10,000 GBP. Let me say that again. If he beat the game in 3 damn years, he would get a whopping 10,000 GBP. You know what the highest average of the server is for GBP? 2,000! And they agreed to give him 10,000! Needless to say, I wasn't exactly happy about this. The bet was legit child's play, even for Esteban. Every day, thinking of how this Gerber was going to get 10K for beating a game that someone could beat in a week was getting to me. So I finally spoke up. On May 3rd, 2025, the stars aligned perfectly. The Discord wasn't chaos over GBP. Ethan had joined alongside me due to an Elden Ring deal he had made being toyed with just 2 weeks prior. And thanks to Austin's new clarification of the system, I had the perfect opening. Under these new terms, which have been accepted by the Monarch, these terms would undoubtedly make all previous events, which are still currently unfulfilled, null and certainly void. This would be the first and most damning case of evidence for the removal of Esteban's original 10,000 GBP Elden Ring agreement, since it was made on the original GBP regulations and not the new ones, meaning it was formed on the basis of possible corruption. While this is certainly enough for the destruction of said event, some other areas are of interest to look into. For example, the fact that Ethan's GBP deal in beating the game was under a significantly lower time limit than Esteban's. This was originally done because it was believed Esteban was incapable of beating the game. However, in not much time at all, he has gotten past Renala and is well on his way to defeating the first quarter of the game, whereas in Ethan's original gameplay, he never made it that far, let alone in the time Esteban has. Therefore, this event was formed on a fraudulent basis, suggesting Esteban incapable of beating the game in a normal time span like my associates and I have previously done time and time again. These details I have presented before you show how this event is most definitely unjust and problematic for this just economic system. With this being said, I suggest that this outdated deal be completely terminated and the council, with the approval of the Monarch, come up with a new event for Esteban beating Elden Ring. Esteban tried his best to combat my points but failed entirely. We traded messages back and forth, but I knew this banter wouldn't be enough to truly make a change, so I decided to take serious action. I took him to court in Minecraft.
Good to see you, brother.
I'm just for the occasion, obviously. This is serious, dude.
We know that 3 years is way too long. Yeah, so, okay, we need to bring up the fact that Esteban was trying to bring up outside false claims in order to distract from the fact of the real case at hand. Because remember, he was claiming, he was like blaming me for all these things and blah, blah. That's not at all what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think he's gonna do a lot of that in this hearing.
I think so. We need to have we need to have a lot of hearsay and false claims objections ready, because he's gonna bring that up. This has nothing to do with me. We're prosecuting Esteban.
Zoe was right. Who were we prosecuting? I'll tell you, a corrupt man who's trying to get away with highway robbery and leave this server in anarchy. Me and Ethan, knowing such horrible facts, made sure to construct a firm game plan until it was finally time to meet in the court.
When you all are ready, please enter the court through the front doors and proceed to the front.
Is everybody
right.
in the court yet?
Front right. The defense is at his bench. Prosecutors will be on the front right at their bench, and then all will rise for the Honorable Judge Axial. You all will be starting the case. The prosecutors always bring the case first forward against the defense, then they will rebut, and then it all just depends on where the case goes from there and how the judge sees fit to rule. The Honorable Judge Axial has decided to extend the wait just a little bit longer to wait for one more of the jury to arrive. Does anybody know where Miss Fritz is at?
Your Honor, she is here.
That's not the honor.
She is on her way.
Oh no,
She's
I'm
on her way.
I'm not. No, I'm not standing there. I'm gonna play Minecraft.
No.
Are you in the server? You have to be at court.
What?
This is important.
You can't.
It's a court. You have to be at the court.
Story duty.
Dude, my
Did you say
God.
George?
You may not.
Take off the armor, please.
You can't just.
I'm watching this game. They all got out.
We'll get more. This is court. You can't be late.
No,
This-
set
Miss
me
Fritz,
back. Where am I?
Miss
No.
Fritz, please find your place among the.
You agreed to
rows.
be on jury duty.
I
You
will
did.
now.
You agreed.
Yeah, you did. That was a contract.
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna have to go take a seat,
No, no,
okay?
no,
You're gonna have to go take
Go
a seat.
Take a seat.
That's not the jury. Sit right here.
Miss
guys.
Fritz, you're gonna have to go take a seat. Tensions were already running high as soon as we entered this courtroom, and right now stuff was starting to hit the fan. But we had to make sure to keep our cool and keep our eyes on the objective.
If there's any disorder, please drag D1 Gunner back to the court trial.
I believe Miss Fritz is making a break for it.
Someone teleport Miss Fritz back. If it does not get fixed, we will have to sentence her to spectator mode until we are done.
Sentence her to death. That'll get her to stop.
Stop it, Ethan.
Okay, are we ready? Please, everyone take a seat.
We're good. Okay, we got this. Okay. We're good.
Order. Please be
All rise for the Honorable Judge Axial.
defense. Let's hear yours first.
I want to thank the jury for coming here today. Seth, thank you for keeping us safe. God bless the United States of America. So, let me open this up. The 3rd of the 5th of the 25th, the year of our Lord. 5:24 p.m. One of our council members who couldn't be here today, sadly, Austin, he wrote a statement. I would like to read that to you guys. I trust your judgment in reference to Great Monarch Axial, but I believe a governing body made of the people, for the people.
Please, silence.
Should place checks and balances and reserve the right to access. I'm sure you all already recognize these words stated by Austin, which were introduced to you earlier within this video. But in this moment, Austin's words became my own, and it was as if we had become one in that moment, connected only by the very essence of justice. Now, under these new terms, which were accepted by the monarch, these terms would undoubtedly make all previous events, which are still currently unfulfilled, null and certainly void. This would be the first and most damning case of evidence for the removal of Esteban's original 10,000 GBP Elden Ring agreement, since it was made on the original GBP regulations and not the new ones, meaning it was formed on the basis of possible corruption. While this is certainly enough for the destruction of said event, some other areas are of interest to look into. For example,
Miss Fritz, please do
everything
not
okay over there?
craft during court. You may continue.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now, as I began addressing this court, I felt like I was moved almost to tears. Justice, peace, tranquility was in the air, and I felt moved by all of them. This dialogue is definitely not to try and cover up the fact that I just read that really, really long and boring statement, and is definitely not an attempt to try and make this court hearing more interesting. That's our opening statement.
Very good.
After you.
Defendant.
Your Honor, esteemed members of the court, I come before you to argue in defense of the original agreement, specifically regarding the 10,000 GBP Elden Ring challenge. I assert that this bet, in its original form, remains valid and should stand, despite any claims of corruption or undue influence. The evidence and reasoning presented against this agreement are not only baseless, but also fail to account for the true nature of the challenge, its terms, and the circumstances surrounding it. That is all for my opening statement.
I had never heard anything more idiotic in my entire life on this planet than in this moment right now. Even just seeing him walk away from the stand, proud of what he had just said, filled me with a type of rage that can only be described as primal. I contemplated pulling out the 22 that I had concealed in my pocket and taking him out right then and there, but I decided to see where this court case would lead us.
Honorable Judge Axel, please meet me in the chambers. Recess for 3 minutes.
He lied, though. It's not baseless. We had a very solid base. What we need to understand is all he said was that he wants to keep the original statement.
Mhm.
That's all
He said.
He did not say why or why it should be kept. He just said he wanted it.
Yep.
He's showcasing a greed. All he wants to do is just get his 10K. He's trying to keep it short and sweet and not show the facts.
So now when we go in, maybe you'll have more of a statement to rebuttal what has been said.
Yeah, I think
So we'll have to
I think I would like to go in and say it's not baseless at all. We brought up not only a statement by another member of the community, Austin Grove, the fact that it was accepted by the monarch. Secondly, is the law instated that only 1K be awarded per month. That again prohibits the allocation of 10K GBP towards Esteban. And third, Esteban did not give any facts, reasons,
Evidence,
or
nothing.
valid evidence as to why it should be upheld. He clearly stated in so many words that he just wants it to be upheld. You did a great opening it. I want to
Thank
take
you.
it next.
Okay,
Take it further.
Take the
I think
reins.
we're gonna nail this. I think we're gonna nail
I
this.
think we're good. I think stuff's looking good. I'm not gonna lie.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Axel. Please, no eating in the court.
In the case of Elden Ring versus Melgar, prosecutors, let me ask, what do you propose is a solution for said problem that has risen due to the Elden Ring challenge?
Your Honor, may I ask that you further explain by what you mean?
If I may, Your Honor, there must be a solution to the problem that has been brought forth. There is no case that we should just go away with a reward for Mr. Melgar.
Well, if I could,
And you're please.
if we could get a clear explanation to what I believe is called the 1 GBP rule, monthly rule, if we could get a more clear explanation to what those rules entail, I think that would be very beneficial to this court hearing.
Okay.
Earlier in the statements of that day, there was talk about a 1,000 per month limit. It's a slight bit confusing only because of the recent event that was announced, which allocates more
Yes.
than 1K to more than one person.
Mhm.
So if we could just get a proper understanding of it, it could help us better accurately in our prosecution and defense.
I couldn't agree more.
The 1k GBP cap is only on life events. Official events, such as a possible From Souls Sadness event, is separate. Events that are, say, I don't know, little challenges people need to do, they have no cap. I'm not putting any cap on it. But the life events is 1k a month.
Your Honor, if I may, the core of the argument against the agreement is that it was based on the original GBP regulations, and thus must be rendered invalid by the introduction of new terms. However, this point is built upon the misunderstanding of both the
Looks like,
nature and the
we're
bet
jumping
of
the
the
gun
purpose
here.
of the
Order,
Say, Your
original
Honor.
agreement.
order. You can resume.
The terms of this challenge were clear at the time that they were made. I agreed to meet specific conditions in order to receive 10,000 GBP, namely, to complete Elden Ring game in a certain time frame. The fact that the new terms may have been introduced later does not retroactively invalidate the original bet unless there is clear evidence that those new terms were agreed on upon by both parties involved prior to any fulfillment of the challenge. In this case, the original agreement, the bet made under the original GBP regulations, was legally binding when it was signed. Unless the contract explicitly provided for the possibility of such a change to the terms or was formed under the duress of fraudulent circumstances, the introduction of new terms cannot erase or void the original agreement.
After almost falling asleep at least 20 times, I contemplated putting at least 522 bullets into my own skull, having to listen to this guy rummage through some sort of ChatGPT wet dream nightmare dissecting a Wikipedia page on law.
Your Honor, may I? Can the defense provide any evidence of what he has stated so far? Screenshots, anything?
You said you signed something, no? You must have a signature.
It was under the precedent of verbal understanding between all the parties.
Verbal understanding isn't going to cut it in this case. Evidence, paperwork, screenshots.
There is evidence in the Discord when it was first.
Can you
I will
show this evidence?
I don't have it on me, but I can look for it right
That's
now.
weird.
Yes.
So you don't have the evidence, is what I'm hearing.
I never said I don't have the evidence because we're all in this.
Do
group
you have
chat
the
right now.
evidence at this moment, yes or no?
No, I do not. Not at this moment.
Okay.
Interesting. That's all we have to say, Your Honor.
If I may,
Yes, go ahead.
the evidence that my opponents were actually requesting, I did just come across, stated by Your Highness himself.
If you could, would you please reply to the message and send it in the general
Yes.
chat, or at least give us a screenshot?
We are not at all arguing that there was an arrangement made, because there was, and it's clear, as stated in the GBP log. What we are simply asking for is evidence that there was a verbal or written agreement. In previous times, when we were talking about the agreement and bringing up the issue of allocating 10k GBP to Mr. Melgar here, Esteban brought up the fact that I was made a arrangement to also get 10k GBP in 3 months if I beat it. The 3-month number didn't come from anywhere. Why would somebody such as Mr. Dolan and myself, Mr. Martz, be given a 2 and 3 month limit to be awarded 10k GBP versus a 3-year limit? Mind you, the statute of limitations is 3 years, just a reminder. He also brought up the fact that I am in a far better financial situation, meaning I could go purchase a controller to continue and embark on my quest in getting the 10k GBP, all of which items are irrelevant and distractions from the actual problem at hand. Mr. Melgar said we have a baseless claim. Your Honor, it's not baseless. All we are trying to do is keep the power from one person and creating a communist economy. Awarding 10k GBP for such a frankly ridiculous time period for somebody even like Esteban Melgar, who has a part-time job. Matter of fact, he claimed he had school prohibiting him from playing, yet his school project was on that very game. I'm not saying that Mr. Melgar shouldn't be awarded anything, because it's certainly a feat at which he has achieved, but 10k GBP is far too much and was recklessly offered before the establishment of the monarch, of the people. I rest for now.
Well, defendant, have you got anything to say?
I would like to ask what the difference between my original agreement is with a new proposed challenge is. I just want some understanding on that.
If I believe correctly, it's not a new challenge, less a new reward. Tell me, would the government let something like this slide? Would the IRS let tax dollars unclaimed be slidden? Would they just allocate $10,000 to a person based off of previous laws? Or would they adhere to the new laws if had not been allocated before those laws were implemented?
Your Honor, I have another question to ask for the prosecutors. Mr. Dolan and Mr. Martz, do you know what the reward is for first place in the new challenge?
If you'd like to run it down, of course you could say it.
The new event proposes that it is 1 year from the 1st of June. The new event also proposes that more people are involved in this event rather than just me alone. More people in this channel have a lot more experience with these games than I do. Mr. Michael Dolan
Objection,
is a
false
perfect
claims.
example.
My bad. Sorry, I'm late. Sorry, I'm late.
Sorry, upheld or?
Upheld, yeah, upheld. Sorry.
Most of these people are not experienced. There's only 2, which can be proven by the limit set by Axel that those 2 must complete more games. If everybody's experienced, why didn't he set that for everybody?
Defendant?
Are you talking as to who didn't said who for what? Because I did not set the rules for the new challenge.
Could you repeat that sentence? It didn't make any sense.
Was Mr. Mart referring to me setting the new challenge or somebody else?
I was simply referring to the claim that you made that most people are more experienced than you. You said that word for word, did you not?
I did, and I brought to example Mr. Michael Dolan.
Now, was Michael Dolan set a debuff for this event?
No, he was not.
Was Tristan set a debuff?
He was not.
Wrong. He was. Your Honor, the defense is not at all organized. Defense cannot even bring up actual facts or evidence.
Your Honor, I would like to bring something up, actually. They claim that the original bet was under corruption, was it not? Is that not what you guys claim?
That's hearsay.
You're on the jury.
Please, order.
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 God, bro.
I've never seen that item before.
What was
My
the
previous statement was the fact that they're bringing up that the original agreement was corrupt. I would like to argue that there is no evidence of possible corruption. It is both speculative and unsupported. So I would just like to ask them, where did they originally base the fact that 10,000 GBP is corrupt?
May I, Your Honor? Obviously, we have already been through this. He must also be deaf and blind. We know that this new system would not allow this 10,000 deal out. I believe that this would be, how would you put it, a life event? And life events are, let me think, this current event that's on trial right now. Am I correct? No eating in the court, thank you. So, on that basis, that means that as I stated in my opening, any event which was made before this new set of rules would become null and certainly void, meaning that it would be corrupt if it were to continue forward, and Mr. Melgar was to be awarded 10,000 GBP if he beat Elden Ring in 3 years. I rest my case.
Your Honor, may I provide proof of corruption in the Monarch for Mr. Melgar's request? Sent in GBP log chat. The proof of corruption here is Ethan was made the arrangement that he will get 10k GBP if he beats Elden Ring within 3 months. Was the original, it says edited, Do you see that edited? When you view that edited way later, months later, 2 months later, the original agreement was Ethan to get 10k GBP if he beats it within 3 months. The if not loses 10k was not on there. That was added almost a month after the fact. That's corruption. That's work against the people. So if this is void, why is the 10k for Esteban upheld?
Your Honor, if I may ask Mr. Martz a question. You say that the original text was edited, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have the proof that it was edited, correct?
Yes, sir.
We do.
And I'm not refuting the fact that it is edited. It says right there that it is. However, what proof do you have that it wasn't our honorable judge who made that decision himself to edit it and take that away from you? What proof do you have that says it was me that did that and suggested that to him?
No one claimed that.
Your Honor, nobody claimed that.
Gosh, she's stupid.
I would also
Honor,
like to
but-
point out, Your Honor, that if we look at the rewards for the new proposed challenge, first place wins 20k GBP, second wins 15k, third wins 10k. Based off of my experience in Elden Ring so far, if I were to complete the game, right, within that time frame, I wouldn't even be hitting podium. I'd be only receiving the third place reward. If we keep the original agreement, it would give me a chance to be in the running and actually have a shot at this new agreement.
Your Honor, may I?
I would like to say a few things about that.
Yes, sir.
The deal was 3 games, not 1 game. So if that was to be allowed, you would be getting 3rd place for doing less, and that's why I'm not allowing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think we
You got
should
the
go
boy
on
twin like hell
reset.
no, so you gotta lock up twin, bro. It's not even you twin on phone on great.
We'll be
Order.
back in 3 minutes. Please be in your seats within 3 minutes.
I'll see you in hell.
I think a solution of allowing Esteban to use this entry into the event, I would be okay with. Instead of him getting the 10k for beating Elden Ring within 3 months, he instead gets to use the progress that he made before the announcement of the event and finish the game, giving
I
him a
agree
head
with that.
start, allowing him to place into the podium.
But-
I'm okay with that.
If we allow him to do that, then that means we wouldn't allow him to get any sort of GBP in relation to his own separate life event. He'll only get GBP related to this new event, but he gets the benefit of being able to count this current Elden Ring Let's Play towards the new event.
That will uphold the current laws and satisfy both parties. I think we should propose that. I really think he'd go for that. He still didn't give us any base.
He
Except for the
hasn't
fact that
even
he
rebutted any of our claims.
No, he hasn't.
Everything we've
He's
said
just-
still stands.
He's just sat there and listened. It's clear that he just wants this that agreed.
Everything was looking perfect for us. We'd brought facts and evidence to our side. Meanwhile, Esteban had only brought random rambling, showcasing his greed and lack of preparation for this trial. We walked back in that court, confident and excited to make our final statements.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Axial.
So I would like to talk about one thing before we begin. The edits. I am going to strike that from the records. On the baseline of it was a joke. He was never going to get 10k. You shall all begin.
Your Honor, that man's pissing. Your Honor, is this our closing statement or is this just more heavy hitters?
A little bit of both, maybe.
We can mix it up. You know what? Let's just
Closing
get to
statements.
the...
Closing statements.
I'd like to start this off with saying thank you to the Monarch Axial, our brave soldiers, our brothers in blue that defend this courthouse. Thank you. Let's give it up for give it up for Piggly for that.
Very nice. Very
I
nice.
want to thank the jury for being able to come out here. Justice really means a lot to me. Ethan, if you over here. Justice really means a lot to this server, this establishment, hence what has been done recently, not to bring up bad memories of a certain man whose name started with T. We mess with justice here, and terrible corruption will not be allowed in this server. With that being said, what you have all seen today is a man who wants nothing but greed and power. In each one of our statements, he has not rebutted anything. He has not brought up any hard-hitting evidence, any facts, any proof. The only thing that he could possibly bring up is where is the corruption. I believe the corruption is sitting in that seat across from me. It's in his very nature. You can see it from his statements if you don't believe me. Some of you may say hearsay. It's all on tape.
In fact, to prove this, in his opening statement, he did not say anything factual or evidential. He simply, in many words, said, I want my money.
If that doesn't bring chills in you folks, I don't know what possibly could. I'm shaking.
I can trust the people, the jury, and the monarch to make the correct decision and help the people think that they will clear corruption, keep this democracy together.
Monarch. It's a monarch. It's a monarch. It's a monarch with a court, with a round table. It's a monarch with a round table. Thank you. Get
Sleepy Joe, out.
Before I begin my closing statement, may I bring a witness to the stand?
They can't be part of
Your
the jury.
Honor, just closing statements, not further evidence.
Your Honor may do however he pleases.
I will allow this
They're part of the jury.
because
We don't have that many
is-
people here. Just play along.
Miss Melgar, if you could please step to the stand.
He's related to the jury member too.
wait, that's kind of crazy.
Your Honor,
Kind of crazy.
objection bias. Objection bias.
Well,
Miss
to
Fritz,
be fair-
please. Miss Fritz, please.
She's gonna try to assassinate the judge.
Miss
Miss
Fritz,
Fritz, please. I don't have to kill you.
Drop
Please.
the sword!
Mr. Prosecutor, please. Why did you bring a weapon into the courthouse? Was that a crossbow?
wait,
That was not a crossbow.
Please empty out your pockets. You
Your
brought
Honor,
bad omens.
this man is touching my associate. I request order.
Order.
I'm the
Order.
bailiff.
Too
Why did
bad.
you?
Get in the corner.
Why did the prosecutor? Your Honor, may I please speak
Yes.
to you? Why did the prosecutors
Hey,
bring bad
what's going
omens
on over there?
into the courthouse?
Stuff's in the fan. I'm not even gonna lie.
It really is.
I'm missing my bad
Please.
omen for my grandma.
Let's order.
Order. Okay. Why
Yes, Your Honor.
do you have bad omens?
Your Honor, I was gonna give that to my grandma.
I can second that.
Are you admitting in this courtroom to a judge that you are going to murder?
Does bad omen kill?
No.
Does bad omen kill?
It forces said illagers to attack.
Do guns kill?
Grandma.
Do guns kill?
I don't believe they do, Your Honor. Let's move on with the
Please
case.
continue with your line of questioning with
Yes.
your witness.
Get back in the.
Miss Melgar, if I recall correctly, you were present when the original statement and agreement was made, were you not?
I was.
You were also present when I decided to pursue to beat that game because of my school assignment, were you not?
Yes.
And what was the entire goal of me actually wanting to beat Elden Ring? What was my idea going into it?
And I quote Mr. Melgar, you said, I want to prove that I'm smarter than a goldfish.
I want to prove that I'm smarter than a gold.
You say, and I quote. Where's the quote? Let me see it in text.
Do you want the document? I can
Yes.
give you the document.
We would love
I
the
do.
document. Thank you.
I will
I
give
do.
you the document. Absolutely, I will. Give me 1 second. Mentioned earlier, correct? That I made this as my school project. I had to do this because the school project was a semester-long project, and I was given the free liberty to choose whatever I wanted, whatever game I wanted to do it on. And I asked around, what game should I do my semester on? From Mr. Dolan and the unnamed T, they both told me Elden Ring. Now, for the document,
Miss Lily, may you stop placing torches?
for the document that I have here, actually, there is the link providing my Elden Ring video essay that I made, as well as the YouTube video essay that I created for this project, both stating that I need to be bigger or better than a goldfish.
Mhm.
Therefore,
Your
that-
Honor, objection. This is not a closing statement. This is run on way too long.
No, this
I
is
believe
my
we need a
closing
second
statement.
round.
This is
I
not my
believe we
closing
need a
statement.
second round.
You may rebuttal at the end of this statement.
This is not my closing statement.
This is the. We all agree this is the closing
Okay, well-
statement.
Objection narrative.
Okay, hang on. I will allow-
A narrative is providing a long, extended answer that does not directly respond to the question and includes details beyond what is needed. We do not need these details. This does not matter. This is building a narrative.
Your Honor, I have no more questions for the witness.
Mr. Melgar, I believe it is your closing statement time. Please make it quick.
As for
Bro,
my closing
Miss
statement,
Melgar,
I swear.
please stop
Get
committing
back there.
parkour within the courthouse.
the original bet that was made for this, in my opinion, and I hope in the opinion of the jury, should stand, as it was made under clear terms, agreed to both parties at the time, and not subject to revision due to post-agreement changes or claims of corruption. The accusations of fraudulence and the assertion that the bet was unjust are without merit and based on subjective interpretations of the challenge. I have proven that I am more than capable of beating the game within 3 years, forgive me, which is why my opponents wanted the change, as well as why the idea of the change was originally brought up.
Objection, a goldfish could be in 3 years.
This
That's
is
too much
for
time.
closing statements. You can't object, sir.
Oh,
And I've been
yeah.
proven capable to meet the terms of the original agreement, and that the introduction of new terms cannot alter the binding nature of the contract that was formed between the two parties at the start. We ask that the court respect the integrity and the original agreement and uphold its validity. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. It's valuable, I know, especially when it comes to cows and impatience. First, I would like to see the jury decide on who they think is in the right and who they
Please,
think is in the
before we allow the jury to convene, would the defense and the prosecutors please leave out the front doors and join gooning time until decision has been made?
As the jury stated their stances, the air itself felt as if it had gotten thick with tensions. Something just seemed off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
Ethan, don't bring a weapon into the courtroom, please.
Yeah, Esteban, suck my nut.
My decision for the Elden Ring versus Malgar. I find Mr. Malgar guilty, but I also find him partially not guilty. And let me explain. I have a plan. His deal will be changed. It will be 3k GBP for beating Elden Ring in 6 months. But any progress this event will carry forward into the next event. Meaning, if he beats this if he beats this game, it will count as his 1 game towards his required 3. I feel it is unfair to make Esteban work for nothing.
Thank you,
He is
Your Honor.
dismissed.
I couldn't believe it. I thought we had done it. I thought that there wasn't any chance we could lose or receive some sort of lackluster compromise. I thought justice would prevail in full. But just then, in that moment, it all made sense. The odds were never in our favor to begin with. From the moment we stepped foot in that court, everything was off. Esteban's silence, the witness being related to the defense, the bailiff and judge trying to set my partner up, it all made sense. This whole thing was set up against us. The corruption was deeper than we originally thought, and now, Esteban was still getting a GBP deal higher than the monthly limit even allowed. This server, this economy, this court itself, it's all unjust. And I won't stop. I won't yield until justice prevails.